Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Twigger coming at you with another high ELO commentary. This time it's going to be focused on Wildturtle, the AD carry for Team Solo Mid, playing on this Corki, and we're actually getting into this game even before any items have been purchased, so I'm going to get the entire action-packed game. Hopefully it should be very, very good. Wildturtle always does tend to put on quite a show for us, so hopefully he'll really bring the action, bring the heat, get a lot of kills in this game. Since everybody's just kind of getting into position now, just wanted to take this time to say thank you to all my subscribers, or everybody who likes my videos, who comments on them, anybody who's given me some constructive criticism to work on and think about. I really do appreciate everything that you guys have given me. All these videos are for you guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy them, and I certainly enjoy giving them to you and commentating over them and recording them, so this is working out pretty well. So let's get into this game, looking at everybody's kind of defensive positioning for this level 1. Nobody seems to really be feeling all that ballsy to go in and invade at this time. Some kind of interesting picks in this game as well. Having the Fizz in the middle, we're starting to see that a little bit more frequently. I think after we saw it was Xpeke getting kind of annihilated by Kha'Zix's Fizz, he's starting to be seen a little bit more in the mid lane role. But it actually does look like Red Team is pinging on this Rengar. I'm not exactly sure how they saw him come in there. And I also don't know if they know that it is only Rengar. They might actually think that a lot of people are in that brush. But it looks like they're just going to walk on by. It was funny, they pinged him, but are not actually... Oh no, Zyra! Oh no, Zyra! But luckily she does have backup from her team. They do have vision, so Rengar's going to try to run away from this one. So he does have to burn that flash over the Wraith Pit. Could have been an interesting play, but he was very deep and just by himself, so don't really know if that's the best place to be. Did cause him to burn his flash, so look definitely for a couple early top lane ganks from this Kha'Zix. So just going back on the interesting picks, Fizz being in the mid lane, Zac being in the jungle, which is kind of funny. You're seeing him in kind of both positions, the top lane, sometimes in the mid lane even, and in the jungle. But the jungle, I find, is the more rare one to see. I've been seeing it a little bit in the summer promotion series from some of the challenger teams, but really he was normally seen in the top lane as that kind of bruiser being played by people like Wicked and Soaz in the European scene. But looking how things are going, and also just the last pick, actually, the Kha'Zix jungle, very rarely see that one. But Fizz actually going a little bit aggressive, was actually winning that trade until he took a turret shot to the face. Gonna be sending him deep into his potions line. And now this is the patch where you can only have up to 5 health potions, so these melee guys can't really stack that kind of ward in 9 pots anymore, so Fizz does have to be kind of wary about how much damage he takes, because he will surprisingly run out of those health pots faster than he would probably like. Caitlyn doing a little bit of harassment onto Wildturtle, and see, the tides have really turned now after he took that turret shot, because the aggression has now sunk into Diana's favor. And there's the first gank we have going actually onto the Jace, and just an immediate first blood. That elastic slingshot going so far, and then with the jump combination from Rengar, not a hope in hell that Jace was actually going to be able to use his acceleration gate to get away. So kind of a scary little jump combination there from the Rengar and the Zac. But first blood going to that Jace. Very smart idea actually for the Zac to go up to gank the top lane, because we were expecting Kha'Zix to gank more onto the Rengar, because he did have to burn his flash in that level 1 runaway. So giving that Rengar a little bit of an early game advantage should hopefully put him in the lead over this Jace. But now Kha'Zix taking a lot of damage, having to burn his flash, but the leap coming out from the Rengar actually picks up the Kha'Zix, transferring that double buff over as well. Jace does manage to pick up the Zac passive, and it's actually Diana who's going to be coming in to try to clean this one up. I don't know if she's actually going to have enough to kill the Zac. The Zac has respawned. He is not dead. Jace being taken very, very low, and apparently that's going to be the end of that whole engagement. So Diana did not have the damage to take down all of Zac's little bloblets, so he does manage to survive that one, ends up picking up a kill for the blue team, and increases that gold lead to 1.3k. So far, so good for the blue team. Going to really need Wildturtle to have that big late game advantage that Corki can bring. I find that he actually is a fairly good late game champion. And it's interesting seeing Corki kind of come back slowly but surely into the competitive scene. I remember back in the Season 2 days, it was either Ezreal or Corki in every single game. Or it just, that's how it worked. They were both so strong. Those kind of caster AD carries were incredibly strong. But now Corki has kind of like fallen to the wayside. And he did get a couple buffs. So like his rockets, I believe it's now every third rocket, or it could be fourth rocket, is now the big bomb. So that does a lot more damage, a lot more AoE pressure there. He's just gotten quite a few good buffs. I think that's made him a little bit more viable in competitive play now. So it's going to be interesting to see in the hands of somebody like Wildturtle what he can do with Corki. And Wildturtle, I find, is just such a great player. He plays so many champions. His champion pool is quite impressive when it comes to AD carries. So seeing him on somebody like Corki, which I've not seen very frequently, and look, ends up dodging that elastic slingshot. So very good play on his part. But as I was just saying, it's going to be interesting seeing him play on somebody like Corki to really see what the potential of this champion is, because he is such a good AD carry. And they did put enough pressure down on that bot lane, forcing Janna and Caitlyn to recall even after a gank from Zac. So Zac's just going to go down to this bot lane. Probably not going to get much CS, but just going to sit there to soak up the experience from these lines. Might as well not let it go to waste just to the turret. But as per normal, Wildturtle is actually what am I trying to say here? He is leveling up his Q first. So we did kind of expect that one to come out. That was kind of the old Corki build that you would do, leveling up that phosphorus bomb, and then your Gatling gun right after. Just having that 1 point in your Valkyrie just so you can get away or engage if you're in a good situation. But important time now when Fizz hits level 6. He has been pretty aggressive during this entire time, but now once again the aggression has been turned over towards him. Diana getting that second proc of her shield up, doing quite a bit of damage, and her taking absolutely none for it. Looking at the CS in all of these, a little bit of an advantage for that Rengar up in the top lane, him getting that first blood and getting that Doran's Blade and a longsword. He's going to be able to put a lot of pressure onto this Jace. And I find the kind of counter to somebody like Jace, and look, there goes Rengar. Where the hell did he come from? And just absolutely melted Zyra. I didn't even see her life bar go down. She just got absolutely popped from that one. And Wildturtle is now not in a good place, taking a ton of damage. His barrier ends up getting popped. I don't think he's not going to escape that one, and everybody's just going to kind of nonchalantly walk away from that one. Diana was looking to come down that river, but is actually going to change her mind. Does not want anything to do with that. All three members of the blue team still decently healthy. So I don't think the odds were in her favor. She did manage to go down there. Rengar doing a very sneaky play, coming down into that brush, getting that jump onto the Zyra, picking up the 2 kills for that blue team. Janna actually picking up one of those kills, so not the most ideal, but Caitlyn got a kill as well. So the kills are really falling all over the board, which is quite good. I actually like it when that happens, because that means everybody's going to be a decent threat on the team. It's not going to be all stacked on somebody like Caitlyn. You do want somebody like Caitlyn to get those kills, but if she has all of the kills and she's the only strong member of your team, if she gets focused down, your team has nothing left. So having all those kills and assists spread across the board, everybody's going to be dangerous and everybody's going to be able to support one another. And it's going to just add a lot more pressure to the red team of who they want to focus. Look, Kha'Zix jungle has not been overly effective yet. He did just hit level 6, so he gets to evolve something. I didn't actually see what he evolved, but I would assume as normal Kha'Zix go, he would probably evolve those, I can't even remember what they're called. Vorpal spikes, is that what they're called? The W, the range ability is probably what he's going to go for, get those triple spikes going in the jungle. Would probably allow him to. No, he's actually got his claws first. So that's an interesting little one. And Diana's now come in to try to engage on Janna and Caitlyn. The flash did get burned by Caitlyn, but she does still have the next part of her ultimate. Does pick up the kill. The Zyra ultimate coming out, not even getting an assist on that one. And Zyra now taking a lot of damage. Actually dies. What a horrible play. So Zyra just taking way too many turret shots. Didn't even get an assist for that kill, even wasting her ultimate to try to get an assist there. Didn't manage to get it. Oh no, it wasn't his cause. He did upgrade the lovely little, God, the Vorpal spike. Void Spike, not Vorpal Spike. That's Shen with the Vorpal Blade. But the Let's Bounce coming up from TPA Torgan on the Zac, doing a lot of damage actually to the Kha'Zix, and Kha'Zix is going to pick up the Fizz, taking too many turret shots, and now Zac is in kind of a precarious situation. He's very low on life. And Kha'Zix managing to survive that one, even through the ultimate of Zac knocking him up, but very good timing of his of Kha'Zix's ultimate to go invisible underneath his turret, force Zac to take a lot of turret shots, and especially force Fizz to take a lot of turret shots, managing to kill him, which is exactly what Kha'Zix needed. Kha'Zix known to be quite a late game terror with his resets after getting his jump fully evolved. And now Diana does manage to land her Q onto Zac, but doesn't look like she's going to go for any kind of an engagement here. It would be under the turret, and she probably knows that Fizz is on his way. Doesn't want to give a free kill. And now there's a great little route onto Kate. And Corki trying to do as much damage as he can. There goes the Valkyrie, but a Monsoon to just knock him right back. Get the hell out of here. And there's the ultimate coming out from the Kate just to do as much damage as she can to Wildturtle, and actually doing a ton of damage. He is very, very low. And now Kha'Zix is kind of running in to see if he can clean anything up, but also Diana coming in from the other side. Does it actually miss that E to bring Kate back in? And now look at the damage coming out of this Rengar. Oh my god, absolutely melts Kha'Zix. That was actually incredible. The damage coming out from Rengar is just so intense right now. He has the Brutalizer right now with the 2 Doran's Blades and another Longsword. He is doing a ton of damage. He's going to be very, very scary with 2 kills and 4 assists and 73 CS. He is not the guy you want right up in your face. And Jace now dueling the Zac up in the top lane, but Zac is actually the same level as the top lane Jace. Not really the position you ever want to be in, where the jungler on the enemy team is matching your solo laners. Kind of a scary position. There's the ultimate from the Fizz onto Diana, doing a lot of damage. His Fizz going to have his Q up. It's not up quite yet. There it is. Does manage to finish off the Diana, taking 1 turret shot, but it was not enough. Maybe if he took 1 more, he might actually have it. But there's Rengar once again in this bottom lane, trying to pick up more kills. This bottom lane duo is just so squishy and really tasty for this Rengar to pick up. Here's Zac using the Elastic Slingshot onto the Jace. And Jace is just going to knock him right back. And Wildturtle going back in onto this Janna, once again taking a ton of damage. And look at all the damage! Oh my god! How do you deal with that? You don't even have any time with that. It just 1 jump, 2 jump, completely dead. So absolutely unreal amount of damage. But now it looks like Zac is in a precarious situation, trying to use his less bounce, but it just gets absolutely destroyed by Kha'Zix and Jace, and they're going to take down all this Bloblets, and it looks like Kha'Zix is going to be the one picking up that kill, not the Jace. So Jace actually doing pretty decently in this top lane. I think the only reason he is doing decently is because Rengar has literally been in the bot lane for half of this game. But the issue being when Rengar does come back up into this top lane, Jace is 0-2-1 versus Rengar's 3-0-4. I don't think Jace is going to have a very good time facing that Rengar 1v1. In terms of CS in the other lanes, 89-80 for those mid laners, well now 90, so a little bit of an advantage for that Fizz. 94-97 in favor of Corki, really quite even in that bot lane. 15-10, even pretty even among the supports. And now Fizz is trying to challenge this Diana here. He did just use his Playful Trickster, which is going to put him in a bad position. Couldn't get away from that one after he had already used his Playful Trickster to do more damage onto the Diana. Didn't know that Kha'Zix was just chilling there at the race, farming those out. And just the amount of damage coming down onto the Zyra, she really she went for that Cage's Lucky Pick. I really wish she had gone for like the Philosopher's Stone first, just so she can start regenning some of this health, because every bit of poke that she's taking, they don't have any sustain in this bottom lane, so all the poke that she's taking is sticking, besides what the Flask is giving her. And there's Jace taking a lot of damage from the Rengar. He's finally meeting the Rengar for the first time in a while, but there's a great Q from the Caitlyn. The true damage from Zyra is actually going to miss. There's a flash burn from the Caitlyn as well, but there's the ultimate coming out, and look at the damage just coming down onto Wildturtle. Did not manage to pick up the Caitlyn either, and now all of a sudden Jace is in a bad position with this Rengar and the Zac chasing him. The Janna's tornado does knock him up, and there's just going to be another kill. So I can't believe Jace actually ran down through the entire jungle to get down to the bot lane turret while being chased by Zac and Rengar. Rengar now sitting at 404, 510 with 109 CS for the Caitlyn. Already has that BF sword, the Avarice Blade, the Vampiric Scepter, the Pickaxe. It looks like she's probably going to go for an Infinity Edge, I would want to say. I think she's just gotten that Avarice Blade kind of early to get the gold from it, and then she's going to build it into a static Shiv later. But I think her first item is probably going to be that Infinity Edge once she gets the money. I don't actually know how much money she's currently sitting on. She's probably spent the majority of it. Yeah, she did. So she's sitting at 362, but as we can just see in the gold advantages here, 5,400 to the 3,800 in favor of that Rengar in the top lane over the Jace. Pretty even amongst the junglers, only a couple hundred actually in favor of the Kha'Zix, which is at least one thing that the red team can take solace in, is that their jungle is doing half decently. A little bit of advantage for the Fizz in the gold, about a 1.6 thousand gold difference for the AD carries in favor of the Caitlyn, and quite a difference actually in the supports, over 1.5k in favor of the Janna with her 5 assists and even the 1 kill. Zyra has just been absolutely manhandled this game, and it looks like once again she's in a little bit of a bad position if there's the knockup from the Janna, and look at the damage that just got absolutely annihilating, and there's going to be another kill onto the Zyra. Really, really unfortunate for her. Corki it's actually more unfortunate, I would say, for Wildturtle, who's not having a horrible game, CSing quite well, but the ADC on the other team is just getting so fed off of this Zyra. She's not even really worth any gold right now, so it's going to get to a point where I don't even think it's worth it to waste an ultimate on there. But there we go, a bunch of people flying in to take down the Jace. Let's Bounce has been popped by the Zac to try to take out, to try to run away from this Diana and the Kha'Zix. And are they actually going to chase this one in? So there's the ultimate coming in from the Diana. Oh my god, Fizz is just running around. The minion actually blocked the Kha'Zix W, so he wasn't able to get that one. He's going to throw it as much as he can. Fizz actually dodges all the skill shots coming up from Diana and from the Kha'Zix, and Rengar just jumps out of absolutely nowhere, uses his ultimate to get that leap onto the Kha'Zix and pick him off. And now Diana is in a little bit of trouble. No, she was being chased by the Janna, but is just going to escape that one. She is still pretty healthy, so doesn't really have to worry about the support Janna picking her up. But Rengar is quite close, so you do want to get away from that one. I do really like that Rengar skinny. Always kind of reminds me of a Predator from the movie Predator. Wish he made the noises of a Predator too. That would be pretty amazing. Riot would pretty much be telling Riot to shut up and take my money. But looking at how things are going, pretty grim for the red team right now. 15-4 in kills. They are not overly far behind. Well, that doesn't really help. They're about 6,000 gold behind, but I know from experience and how people are looking at this game and how people are playing it, when you're in it, you can't see how much gold your team has accumulated. You can only really see that they're down 2 more turrets than they've taken. Oh, look at the damage. I'm going to talk about this in just a second, but the damage going down onto the Fizz, but look at the damage also coming down onto the Kha'Zix, so Fizz is doing a lot of damage, and once again, here comes Zac just coming out of absolutely nowhere. The Zyra ultimate knocking him up, so very, very good play on her part, actually making sure that Zac was not able to chase the Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix did get the reset on his jump, so he did get away from that one, but still a scary situation to be in when a Zac just kind of relaxes slingshots right into you when you're at low health. But as I was saying previously, all you can see when you're in the game is that you're down 2 more turrets than the enemy team, and you're down 10 kills, so 15-5 in kills. It's pretty demoralizing, and you also at this point don't really know how many dragons the enemy team has got. So it's always a scary thing to think that you think that you're down a lot more than you actually are. But with the blue team taking this dragon as well, it's going to really increase their gold lead. So, well, actually, no, it's still about 6,000 gold, so I just don't know what I'm talking about. Jace knocking away this Fizz. His ultimate is going to be up in a couple seconds now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Fizz really chase this one down. Jace is probably realizing that this is getting pretty darn close, but he hasn't used his ultimate yet. But here comes the entire cavalry, just absolutely annihilates that Fizz. One of the great parts about having those 2 assassins, Kha'Zix and Diana, is that when they can jump on somebody and when they have the opportunity to jump on somebody, they will just absolutely melt them. And those are the few people on the red team who are actually having a decent game, but we do have a bit of an engagement going on here. The blue team has caught the red team out a little bit. 4 members of the blue team coming up to try to take down the 3. They do take down the Kha'Zix, which is definitely a good kill. I believe that he was not on a killing spree. But as I was saying previously, the Caitlyn did finish her Infinity Edge. That was her first item, and it looks like she is going to be going for that Static Shiv. Should be the next item with that Avarice Blade in her inventory right now. She has just relied on the lifesteal from just the Soul Vampiric Scepter, which is normally enough. It is quite a lot of money with that BF Sword item, getting the Bloodthirster for that extra sustain. But you don't really need it if you're not taking a ton of harassment down in the bot lane, and she was winning that bottom lane so convincingly that she didn't really need to worry about finishing a Bloodthirster for that sustain. She could just go straight for that Infinity Edge, get a ton of damage, and really pressure that bot lane even more. And as we can see, it's really worked out for her. 7-1-0 with 166 CS. Can't think of how that would have gone too much better for her. And they've really managed to shut down this Corki. 0-2-0. Does still have 171 CS, so is still actually beating the Caitlyn in the CS department. But currently not enough. Going to really have to look for the team fight phase. And what's basically the red team philosophy at this point is going to have to be jump to the backline with your assassins and kill Caitlyn before Rengar can kill Corki. That's pretty much how things are going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see actually how Rengar chooses to play, because he is so strong that he kind of can play it 2 different ways. He can let Zac jump to the backline to deal with Corki along with Fizz, and if Rengar actually stays with Caitlyn, he could probably take down people like Zac and Diana before they can take down Caitlyn. So he could actually play kind of a peel role, and his form of peeling would be killing the person who's on your carry, rather than somebody like a Blitzcrank or an Alistar getting people away from your carry. If you can kill the people on your carry first, that's pretty much all you need, because with the strength of Rengar and Caitlyn on somebody, pretty sure you're going to be able to kill them before they kill you, because they are both so strong right now. Fizz is taking a little bit of a leisurely stroll through the enemy jungle. Doesn't seem to really care that he took a little bit of damage, because he does have that Rengar and the Caitlyn very close by. So the dynamic Fed duo of Rengar Caitlyn are with the Fizz, who is actually 2-4-0, so not doing overly well. Does have a decent amount of CS, but he did start falling off a little bit. Diana really picked it up and finished that Zhonya's Hourglass, which is a pretty critical item on Diana, especially through the damage that is going to be coming through from the Rengar and the Caitlyn. Being able to just jump into the backline onto somebody like the Caitlyn, do as much damage as she can, and then immediately use that Zhonya's, hopefully get her Q back up, proc that again on Caitlyn. Hopefully that'll be enough damage to take her out. But with that barrier as well, I don't really know if even playing it like that is going to be enough to take down that Caitlyn, with the Zac peeling and the Fizz damage coming out and the Rengar just absolutely destroying your team. So Jace still does have that Tear of the Goddess. I wonder, actually, I'm just going to check. It is at 750, so he does have that completely filled, so he does need to convert that. He's sitting at, it's actually not enough, because he doesn't have that longsword yet. So he doesn't yet have enough money for that Mana Immune, which would then, the moment that he purchases it, it will be turned into the Mirror Mana. It is a very good item on Jace, so I would really like to see him convert that and get that thing done, because he'll have a little bit of a power spike there. He did buy that longsword now, but I think he's going to need, I think it's 1,000 gold now to actually get the Mirror Mana. So he doesn't really need that 1,000, that I think it's only 200 some odd more gold that he needs, because he's going to get a little bit of a power spike, and they really need all the help that they can get at this point. So sitting in a little bit of a precarious situation. They're starting something down in the bot lane. 4 members down in the bot lane. Kha'Zix is in the mid lane, but he is going to come and join up with his team. And Fizz is now going to recall, so it doesn't look like Blue Team actually wants to engage on anything here. There is a bit of a creep wave pushing the top lane for the red team, but it looks like Zac is just going to go up there and deal with that one. Should be no issue for him. Get him a little bit more farm. Zac actually went for the the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which is kind of an interesting purchase. The only thing that I think it's a very, very strong item. The only thing you really waste on somebody like Zach, who is not a mana user, is that little mana regen stat. But really, I think for the cost of the item and all the other benefits that you get from it, I think it is still a very, very good item, even though you are kind of wasting that MP5, as we would call it. But he is kind of going for more of that, rather than be kind of that big damage threat, getting something like the early Magic Pen through like a Haunting Guise or your Sork Boots or anything like that. He did pick up the Sork Boots, so he is still doing quite a bit of magic damage, but he's not really going for that overall a lot of damage guy. But here's the damage. Oh my god, just gets absolutely bursted. Zach didn't even get to land on the ground from his Elastic Slingshot before he was taking out just the ultimate from Fizz and the ultimate from Caitlyn being so much, just absolutely pop the insect, just squish him. So Kha'Zix meet the boot, which is Caitlyn and Fizz apparently. And very interesting trick that they're doing here from the blue team, and it looks like Wildturtle is getting caught out a little bit. Huge amounts of damage going on to him. He does actually escape, and they did actually take down the Zyra as well, but actually turning this one around a little bit, the Jace manages to get the shutdown bonus onto the Rengar. The Diana has to pop her Zoni's Hourglass, but she is probably going to die. The Fail Flash over the Golem wall does not allow her to escape. Wildturtle tried to come back in here to do as much damage as he could to the enemy team, but the Q from Fizz is probably going to be up pretty soon, and the Playful Trickster is going to be up as well, so he's probably going to jump over this wall and try to get a Q onto Wildturtle, but he's not in range for it yet. His ultimate is still going to be a little while before it comes up, so Wildturtle might actually escape this one. But Fizz is kind of closing him off. They could pincer him a little bit with the Zac, and it looks like Wildturtle is actually just going to go into that River Brush and be right there. And now Fizz is pretty much out of mana, so Kha'Zix should be able to pick this one up. Easy kill for him. And the turret actually got taken down in the top lane, and Kate is now just destroying this Jace with her kiting. Incredible play with that red buff, kiting that Jace around a little bit, even after Jace's jump. And a little bit of an outplay, I'd have to say, at that point, but she is quite fed, so I can't really blame Jace for losing that one. The red team taking the opportunity of Caitlyn being up there and Fizz being dead to pick up that dragon, help their gold pools just a little bit, and Diana coming in to try to take down this Janna. Janna's in a horrible situation, gets picked off, and Kha'Zix actually got the Void Spikes in there, so he does pick up an assist for that one. He does need as much gold as he can get. Those assassins do need to be very, very strong to jump into the back line and kill this Caitlyn very, very quickly, because she's currently sitting at 10-1-1 with 234 CS. That's normally the score we see on somebody like Wildturtle, but currently it's just not been his game. His Zyra support did not do the best, I'd have to say, in that bot lane. 0-6-2, dying a lot of times, giving Caitlyn that very early game advantage. And she has managed to play it through the entire game, which is definitely good to see. She is so strong and playing very, very well. And now here comes Rengar. He is invisible right now, jumping right onto Wildturtle. Look at the damage, nearly 100 to 0s him. The Let's Bounce coming out from Zac does manage to finally pick him up. And he's now in a bit of a bad situation here. He's just kind of sitting here. There's the blob Zonias. That actually looked incredible. He just waited to get that one in just to show it off. So that was very cool. I like to see that. And they do manage to pick up the Zac, but now a lot of damage going down onto the Diana. That was going to be enough damage coming out. Double kill for the Fizz. The Zyra, true damage, not really doing a damn thing. And now it's really just Kha'Zix trying to fend off this mid lane push. The Baron is still active, but it looks like they are going to favor taking down this turret rather than go for the Baron here. They don't really have a tank for the Baron, and they can switch the tower off easily enough through these three people and wait for the creeps to come, and then they'll start tanking it. But Kha'Zix is doing quite a bit of damage. There's the Playful Trickster out of the Fizz, manages to avoid the damage coming out of the Kha'Zix leap. He would have been able to escape that one just because of his ultimate. They don't have an Oracles on Janna, so he would have been able to just kind of run away from that one unless he stepped into a trap. But it's a pretty high ELO game. I don't think he would have fallen for something like that. Corki now going to try his luck on the Fizz, but he does know that Caitlyn is close by. Is he actually just going to jump over the wall here? I think Fizz kind of knows what's up, so not going to fall for that. Fool me once. And here comes Kha'Zix just jumping right over. Has to burn his flash. There's the ultimate from Kate. It is going to be enough. Holy, that was a lot of damage. Taking out a quarter of his health. I didn't think that was going to be enough, but prove me wrong. Holy damn. God damn. Just taking a ton of damage out of that Kha'Zix. That last Whisperer really helping there. And now just popped the Zyra. Oh my god, that Rengar does so much damage. And now Zac is just Zhonya's right up in the air. Looking cool. Absolutely stellar. He can make some pretty cool Zhonya's animations with Zac. I never thought about doing that, but currently very cool. I might have to make a little bit of a highlight moment on those because they are pretty darn funny, I have to say. And now it looks like the blue team's focus is going to be turned onto this Baron. Fizz going to jump over the wall, Zac going to jump over the wall, but currently he is a bubble, so you just have to let him do what he's going to do. But as we can see, the Rengar took Zyra from 100% to 0. An unreal amount of damage, and now Corki's actually going to try to duel this Kate. The Kate does still have her berry up, and I don't know what Wildturtle was thinking there. I think they're just kind of reaching the end of their ropes and are just going to try to take everything that they can. I don't think Wildturtle really thought that went through all that much. I think he just is kind of annoyed at this game and probably wants it to be over, because there's no way that a 0-3-2 Corki could take on a 13-1-4 Kate. But now Jace is once again going to try his luck onto the Caitlyn and does manage to get the shutdown bonus. That's a 500 gold that is 500 gold given over to the Jace. But now Janna found herself in a bad situation. Zyra not going to be able to land those grasping roots, so she is just going to kind of nonchalantly walk away from that one. Just taking a little stroll through the mid lane and just walks away from the enemy team with no ifs, ands, or buts. But now here comes Rengar. The damage, I can't stress that enough, how much damage Rengar is currently doing to everybody. But it's like the battle of the Zhonyas right now. Diana does get taken out right after her Zhonya's wears off. Jace now trying to do as much damage as he can, but the Let's Bounce coming out from the Zac, doing a lot of damage to Jace, slowing him down a bit. And now there's the Janna slow, and TPA Torgon on the Zac manages to pick up that last kill. Surrender vote coming out for the red team, but it is not going to be enough. 2-2. Unfortunate. I think they all just want this game to be over. And now there's the Zhonyas from the Zac. Oh, there we go. So there's a kill for the Wildturtle. Maybe there's the turning point for the team. He might actually be able to pick up this Fizz, but there's a Playful Trickster. He does manage to get out of that one by flashing that Playful Trickster proc in the end. Very good play on their part. Does pick up the double kill, so 2-4-2 now for the Corki. He does have his Trinity Force finish, and he also went for the Spirit of the Lizard Elder. So kind of going sort of that partly that blue Ezreal build, I guess, would be the way of putting it. I haven't really seen the Spirit of the Lizard Elder go on to somebody like Corki, but then again, I haven't really seen Corki all that much in competitive play, so Trinity Force with the Lizard Elder. He does have that pickaxe and the Vampiric Scepter in there, so with the longsword also with the pickaxe, I'm expecting him to go for that last Whisperer. There we go. Picking that one up, going to be increasing his damage by quite a bit. And I wonder if they are going to be able to have much of a fight in this one. They are still a good 7k behind, and they've already lost a Baron. They're 3 turrets down for 3 turrets more, 5-2 in turrets, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Apparently just could not find the wording for that one at all. And they are down 16 kills, so the morale for the red team is probably pretty low. But they just need to hold their heads up high. I've seen comebacks that have been far worse than this if they just kind of group up and make sure that they're holding off these pushes and really just farm the lanes. But it looks like they're not going to get the time for that. There's going to be a huge engagement in this mid lane. Zac picking up a kill and Rengar picking up a kill. The Corki is down, which is pretty much their main damage source, but the Kha'Zix is going to try to do as much damage as he can to the Caitlyn, but nowhere near enough damage to take that one out. And now it's just Zyra left, probably not the person that you wanted. There's the flash and the final shot, picking up that kill onto Zyra. Zyra not even looking to kill the Zac with her true damage, just looking to farm, it looked like, but Zac doing another lovely Zhonya's, making himself look all pretty and shiny and gold. And getting away from that one pretty much scot-free. They only lost Rengar in that engagement, so a 5-for-1 engage. And I don't really know what the red team can do now. I was going to say that they could just kind of sit in their base and farm. And now they're going to kind of get the opportunity. And now TPA Torgon is just toying with everybody here. Brings he's now just having a time. He is having a very good time in this game now, just bringing those turret shots as far as they can. It'd be very funny if turret shots could be blocked by somebody. He could like kill Caitlyn with the turret shots. That'd be kind of funny. But turrets do not work like that in this game. Only things like the Caitlyn ultimate can be blocked like that, or Nidalee spears and things, so certain skill shots. But the home guard boots coming out of the Diana, trying to do as much damage as they can to the Caitlyn. They do manage to pick her up, and Diana's actually going to escape from this one. So overall, a pretty good engagement there. Jace is going to do the damage to the Janna to pick that one up. Double kill coming for the Jace. Fizz managing to pick up the Jace as well. I think I said all that right. That was a little bit of a muddled speech on my part, but I think we got the point across. It was a double kill for the Jace, but Jace also got picked up by the Fizz. So 3-for-1 engagement on that one. Really a slight sign of hope, I guess, for this red team. They are now down 11k. Definitely not the position that they wanted to be in at this point in the game. It is 34 minutes in, but the later this game goes, I think it's going to look a little bit better for... Oh, you know what? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because they do have 2 assassins on this red team through the Kha'Zix and the Diana, which is very good to have, especially against a fed Caitlyn, because yes, she is a late game terror, but if you can get Kha'Zix invisibility and Diana to just run straight through to the Kate and pick her up very, very quickly, I think they should be able to deal with her pretty well. And I find that Fizz and Rengar fall off in the late game. Not entirely sure about Zach. I find he's alright in the late game. He's got pretty good scaling, but I don't really think he's much of a terror in the late game. He's more about those early game engagements. He does have very good engagement still on that elastic slingshot, but in the 5v5 team fights, it is going to be pretty obvious where you're going to be engaging things like Baron and things, so it's going to be hard to get that surprise elastic slingshot, which Zach really needs to be effective. And Jace does very well with the poke in the late game, and I just find Corki is such a strong champion in the late game with his armor shred. And having that Trinity Force and the Last Whisper now, he's going to be doing a lot of damage to the people who jump in on him. But if Rengar just continues to play the way that he plays, he can pretty much pop Corki from 100 to 0 in a good engagement if he just goes invisible, runs in, pops that Ignite. So it'll be interesting to see how these 5v5 team fights go a little bit later on into the game. Fizz is sitting at about a quarter of his health. Probably does not want to be hanging around for too much. The red team is really just going to have to focus now on farming up. Janna has been caught in the jungle. She was taking a bit of a stroll through the enemy jungle and is now being chased by a very large insect, but doesn't look like Kha'Zix is actually going to pursue that one. Just going to take his red buff. Doesn't want that getting stolen from the Zac or anybody on the other team. So Kha'Zix and Corki now sitting with a red buff. Definitely the people that you want to have that red buff, but they are now pinging that Kha'Zix, so it looks like the blue team knows where Kha'Zix is, and he's just going to be immediately. But here comes the Fizz. But Fizz is very low, actually, so he's actually in a very bad situation. He misses the ultimate as well. The second part of the ultimate from Kha'Zix going off, but a great Janna shield and a Monsoon keeping Kha'Zix away, but he is invisible now. TPA Torgan coming over as the Zac and manages to knock up the Kha'Zix, and it's going to be enough to actually save the Fizz's life. So some very good teamwork there to keep the Fizz alive, and that's exactly what I was talking about there. Rengar absolutely blowing up Corki, and there's a little blob of gold from the Zac. it's so good. It's always good to see when you're these high ELO players who are in the Diamond League that they're still having a really fun time playing this game. So doing things that you're just having a great time. I really like to see that, and new and creative ways to really have a good time while you're playing this, because after playing as many games as these guys have, it's probably hard to find fun, creative ways to have a good time in this game, because it is the same game over and over and over again, even though it is kind of different champions and different scenarios and things, but you can see how sometimes it can get a bit boring when you've been playing for so long. So good to see that these guys are finding new and creative ways, inventive ways to have fun. And I'm going to have to try some of those Zac Zhonya's positions, because those seem to be a very good time. The surrender vote going out for the red team again, while the Baron is being taken down from the blue team. And this one was actually worse than the first one. It's now 1-3 on that one. So I would really like to see who's actually voting for those ones and how people are voting. But it doesn't look like the red team's going to be surrendering at any point. I think they just want to play this one through. Well, I say they. One of them definitely does not want to play this one through, because I would only assume it was one of the same people who voted yes before is now voting yes again. But now it's 3 members who are not voting to surrender. So it looks like they're really just going to have to wait for this late game to come in. The Oracle's Elixirs has been purchased for the Rengar. He is sitting with a pretty darn complete build. He just has that extra Brutalizer for the extra armor pen, which is absolutely insane, because he already has that Black Cleaver, the Last Whisper, and now a Brutalizer. He's doing so much armor pen, it's absolutely ridiculous. So you can't build enough armor to deal with that. you have to build light. It's like, yeah. Oh my god, Zac, I'm having a great time with you. He's just making this commentary so much more fun for me. Just these random positions he keeps putting himself in and then zone using. But the damage coming out of that Zac is just... Sorry, not the Zac, the Rengar is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. And I wonder if he's going to hold on to this Brutalizer. He is now buying the Elixir, so has that red pot ticking and also the Oracles. And now he is running straight towards that Corki, trying to do as much damage as he can to take him down. And he actually is going to take down the Corki. So going to be a hard position for these guys to be in. So don't know what they're going to do about this one. So the main damage dealers, the Corki and the Diana, are both down. Jace gets absolutely destroyed by this enemy team. They have actually managed to pick down the Rengar, but with the 4 members alive, including the Caitlyn, who's going to be their main tower pusher, I don't really think they're going to be able to do anything about this push. I think this is probably going to be the end of the game here, because it's only the very, very underfed Zyra and the Kha'Zix who are trying to hold this one off. I wonder if we're going to get another epic little Zhonya's from the Zac, or if they're just going to end this game off. Kha'Zix jumping in to try to do as much damage as he can to the Caitlyn, but it's not going to be enough to pick her up. So Kha'Zix is now dead. Zyra pops her Zhonya's, but they're just going to jump on her and absolutely annihilate her. That's going to be GG. Janna running into the turret gets executed, so they didn't even get a hit onto the Janna to kill her. She gets executed from the fountain, but overall, very, very good game. Some very interesting plays coming out from the Zac with those Zhonyas, but good to see also Rengar back in that top lane doing an incredible amount of damage. You don't get to see him very much in competitive play anymore. He did kind of fall off the face of the earth, so good to see him again. Hopefully we'll see him a little bit more in competitive play, and sorry Wildturtle, just was not your game. That bot lane really did not work out with that Zyra support, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. I certainly enjoyed casting it, and I will see you guys in the next video.